AI, artificial intelligence, quickly becoming one of the biggest tools in recruitment, but also one of the most misunderstood. A recent study shows that while 9 out of 10 hiring managers now use AI in some capacity in some part of the hiring process, only a third fully understand how it works. And on the flip side, job seekers are interested, but often unsure of how to start using AI. Joining us now is Kyle MK, Senior Talent Strategy Advisor at Indeed, best-selling author and workplace thought leader, to share how AI tools like Indeed Talent Scout and Indeed Career Scout are reshaping hiring while keeping the human element at the center. Good morning to you, Kyle.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks for having me.
You bet. We hear so much about AI. We've been talking about it on this show and how all the AI centers need their own nuclear power plants and whatnot. It is such a big next step in computing. What are the biggest challenges now facing job seekers and employers today, and how does AI play a part?
Well, right now, hiring is very complicated for both sides, where job seekers are often stuck and overwhelmed, and employers are losing a lot of time and money just trying to find the right candidates. So, Indeed is using AI to make that process easier, faster, and more human for everyone by freeing us up to do what humans do best, and that is connect with one another and build those hopefully long-term relationships.
Yeah, until the machines take over and just exterminate us. Um, and you know that's coming. You got to watch like 2001: A Space Odyssey and understand that HAL is going to take over our lives. AI is obviously playing a big role in recruitment. I know a couple of corporate exec friends who say that without AI, they wouldn't be able to weed through hundreds and hundreds of applicants. But a lot of people don't fully understand how it gets integrated. So walk us through how AI can help the recruiter and the recruitee.
Well, the cool thing about Indeed Talent Scout is that an employer just has to upload a job description, maybe include some notes on the types of talent that they're looking for. And Indeed Talent Scout essentially just surfaces all of the right candidates directly to that recruiter. So they don't have to sift through hundreds or even thousands of resumes to find the right folks. And we'll even help them craft a message to reach out to those candidates so that way they can focus on the connection piece much quicker.
So it's really important, though, in terms of how the recruiter inputs the parameters. Isn't that essential?
Yeah, the job description also is of what we've been using for decades, and so it's using the job description as well as what the recruiter puts in manually in terms of the type of talent that they are looking for.
Now, I know there are a lot of people who complain about companies losing the human touch in hiring, but Indeed works to try to prevent that from happening, right? To try to make sure that humans are part of it the whole way.
Right. There's not a lot of human connection in the traditional hiring process because recruiters are spending more time only reaching out to candidates that they see are a right fit. And they're not getting to many of the candidates that are applying. So you've got highly qualified talent that's just not being contacted in the first place. And so what this does is it kind of mediates and helps both the job seeker and the employer understand why we believe that they'd be a good fit for each other. So we're pretty transparent in terms of how the algorithm works. And then we are surfacing those matches up to each of those parties as quickly as possible so that they can focus on connecting with one another and not having to be experts in search.
So, Kyle, let's just say today something happens. I decide to change careers, or I'm let go from my job, and I need to start the search. Okay, the big search. What can I do as a person who isn't that familiar with AI to get AI to give me that advantage to help me find a job? What's the first thing I should do, like right now, to start?
First thing you could do is just download the free Indeed app and sign up for a free Indeed profile. It's going to ask you a number of questions like what your preferences are, maybe what your work history is, as well as, of course, what your skill sets are. And what's really great about Career Scout for job seekers is that Indeed is a big proponent of what we call skills first hiring. So we're not just looking at the job titles that you've had in the past or even the education that you have, but what capabilities do you have because of those jobs that you've held or because of that education? And we're taking AI to identify what those skill sets are and where they can be best applied. And so we'll give you lots of different options that will use your full self, not just parts of you.
Kyle, thank you for saying that. Several years ago, when I left ABC after 20 years, I remember um, trying to apply. I wanted to be like a spokesperson for a company or something like that. And I remember speaking to a recruiter. And he said, "Well, what is I now, mind you, I've spent 35 years as a television and radio news anchor, okay, going and speaking to tens of thousands of people, announcing things at stadiums, communicating. That's what I do for a living at the number one market in America." And this is what the recruiter said to me. Well, how does what you have translate into being a marketing person? And I looked at him. I wanted to jump through this. It was a Zoom. I wanted to jump to the screen and choke him. I said, "Are you out of your mind? I have like it's equivalent of 100 PhDs in communications versus the average person. Are you kidding me?" But this is why I thought maybe we do need AI, because obviously some people don't get it. I think his idea of what a TV news anchor does is I sit there and I read papers, and that we're not communicators. That's what we do. So so you're saying that AI can cut through that and look at the skills the individual has as opposed to the title and get right to it.
Exactly right. And we're also explaining why we think it's a good match. So we're not just putting a resume in front of someone and hoping that they are drawing the line and identifying what makes a good match. We're telling them this is why we believe it's a good match. And as a spokesperson, I could say that you could very easily do what I do. I don't think I could ever do what you do. So I totally believe that is a transferable skill. And I'm sorry that recruiter gave you a hard time.
Well, maybe he was trying to see if I was paying attention. I thought about that too, to see if I had an answer to him. But and you do quite a nice job, Kyle, I might say, and I'm not just blowing smoke. You've been able to explain AI and how it works with Indeed very, very well. So once again, give the website for everybody to find out more with Indeed, if you could, please.
Yeah, for employers, it's indeed.com/employers. And for job seekers, if you're looking for a job, just download the Indeed app and set up a free account.
I love it. I love it. Please come back, because I know so many people who could use your services, and they need to hear more about it. Kyle MK, Senior Talent Strategy Advisor at Indeed, also best-selling author and workplace thought leader. Thank you for joining us, my friend. It was good to have you on today.
Thank you very much, Ken.